Okay, so I'm going to read these Jeff questions. You get to see my face one more time besides watching the kitchen. This is going to be the last Jeff Howell Q&A. It'll be number 5 because we're going to stop doing this because it is getting old and Jeff's getting busier and I don't have the time and the questions have kind of ran out. So I think we're done with this. So we won't be doing them anymore. So we will read the last of the questions and things that I have asked that came in. I'll have to read it off this phone. So hopefully we will enjoy this last Q&A from Jeff Howell. Again, as a reminder, at this point in time, at the date of this recording, he will be doing live feeds July 2nd on Facebook every Wednesday night at 7. So please go there and watch him there. Okay, so for the first questions we're finishing up, as a lot of people who have to know his music know that one of his most popular songs is called Top 3. And someone asked who or what inspired the song Top 3. And his answer is, my song Top 3 was written about my son's mother. I definitely don't consider myself a tough guy, but I did wrestle and box in high school. And though not great, I was fairly decent. My son's mother was 10 years younger than me and maybe 112 pounds when we met. We dated off and on for about a year, and then she got sick of dating a working musician and called it off. For no logical reason, it broke my darn heart. The day before, I could have cared less, but this day it hit me hard. I had been through a broken heart before, so I knew that just had to write it out and for however long it would take, but it didn't make it any more pleasant to go through. So the idea just came of this tiny cute person dropping me who had learned how to fight to my knees just appealed. In songwriting and comedy, irony seems to work best for me. Okay, so that was for a fan that asked that question. I can't remember who it was. And for me, I asked him, what is your favorite album, song, and performance of your own work? I like Give Me a Dollar, as I told him. And can you give us some backstory of any of that album at all? So it's the first one he did back in 1988. So, and Rick and Bert were both on that album. So, answer. It's hard to say which album of mine is my favorite. I like them all for different reasons, but I also wish I'd done some things differently on each and every one of them. I do love the Give Me a Dollar album for several reasons. The first being that Rick had recorded me singing Springsteen-stylish song over a dozen times in previous 6 years and told me that if I wanted him to engineer and play guitar on any more of my recordings, that I had to write new songs. I didn't want to, but I did, and it was the best thing for me. I definitely needed to stretch out and try new styles. And it seemed to work on this album and definitely helped me out of my staplet in songwriting. The second reason I liked it was because out of all of my contemporaries in music, this was the first album put out by all of us. The third reason is that all of the musicians that played on it, Heart Attack Diner, Dan Waters, George Clark, and 3-horn players, did it for free as long as I supplied beer for the sessions. I actually would have gotten off much cheaper paying New York musician union rates, but who knew? We did the entire album in 4 days, all I could afford, but the magic and the serenergy were all there. Plus, Rick engineered it to where it sounded like I could actually sing halfway decently. But I would say my favorite recordings actually didn't end up on an album, but were demos that I took with me to LA when I moved out there in 87. Rick, Sean, and Mark Hayes from Heart Attack Diner got together late one night at 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. and recorded 4 of my original songs until about 5 in the morning. The songs were mediocre, but for whatever reason, my voice was pretty dead on. And being a mediocre singer my whole life, I love these recordings because I sounded pretty darn okay on them. Like to have heard those. I'm including one of them in the message, which I won't be including on here. I'm not the great of a singer. Total Bruce Springsteen fan is what he was back then. So it's a ripoff of that. As for backstories on the songs, I think I'll wait until I do my live streams. I will definitely let you know when one's upcoming and to talk about the records or his more of the record stuff behind the scenes during his live feeds. Okay, the last question we got in, this will end it. The interviews at the beginning of the song Child of the Rock. We had recorded the song, and the idea to interview kids just kind of popped into my head. I brought a tape recorder to Showbiz on International Drive and just started drinking beer and asking kids who their favorite rock group was. It needed to finish, so I took a young kid at the end and had him say Lawrence Welk and a 1 and a 2. I'm sure you know, but maybe the younger fans don't know about who Lawrence Welk is. Of course, it was someone who played orchestra, champagne type, jazzy bubble music. It's on PBS Sundays at 7 o'clock. The show started back in the, I think, late 50s, 60s, went all the way up to like 1981 or 82, and then the show went off the air, but it's been rerun ever since. So this is where Bird and Jeff took this whole thing from. Their skits and making fun of this man, Lawrence Welk, and the band. So, and I told him that I already knew, and I grew up with this because I knew, being older, my mother and my parents, my grandparents grew up with it. I did, and then he says that's why Bert imitated him in Clutch and was so darn funny, because he would play him straight for a few minutes and then eventually go off the rails with the super sterile white bread character. I'm sure you've seen the videos. It's super funny. And then that's the end of that. So hopefully we have all enjoyed, or for the ones that did enjoy, the Jeff Howell Q&As. They are done now. So we got 5 of them. And if you want to see the rest of them, go back and look for parts 1 through 4. Now it's parts 1 through 5. And go back and hopefully you'll find some answers to maybe some of your questions if you're new. And if you have questions for Jeff, just DM him. He'll answer them for you, or ask him during a live feed maybe. So that will end that, and thank you very much.